Hello and welcome to this instalment of Talkin Trim. I'm Jonathon Skinner and today we're looking at the boot trunk area for the Triumph TR6 models. Now what we've got here is a variety of kits and a variety of different applicable sort of material finishes as such, and I want to go over sort of the OEM spec versus the upgrade kits that we can offer. Now obviously, as I'm sure you're aware, there were two different versions of the boot trunk areas for the Triumph TR6. You had the version for the petrol injection, and then you had the version for the carburettor. For the sake of ease in this video here, this top kit here, which is all dark blue, that is petrol injection. The bright red kit here is carburettor. Then down here is another repeat of carburettor. So I've got a few different ones going through at the moment. Now, I thought I'd go over the original side of things and then the upgrade option kits that we can offer, then just a basic overview of the different parts in each of the kit. Before we get stuck in, let's look at what we're talking about in the car. So we're talking about the Bootliner petrol tank board. This is actually, I think, for a TR4, so slightly different, but the same concept's the same. So the petrol tank board, which is effectively that panel there, or that panel there. And then for the TR6s, you also have panels on the side, left and right. And then you also had panels around the sort of valance area here, at the very back of the car. If we look at TR6, this is actually a petrol injection, you can see, because it's got the sort of bent corner in the corner where the fuel pump goes for the petrol injection. Obviously the Carb didn't, but you can see there that it's got that panel there, and then it has the panel on the right there, there'll be a panel on the left, and then there's two panels that kind of go in these down corners here. That's that element there. It's worth noting as well that they had, a lot of them had interior lights fitted, which will be in the sort of top right area here, which I'll reference as well. And obviously it had slots for where the boot lid hinges went, which I'll also reference as well. So just keep that in mind. Now, one of the items I will mention are these, we call them wheel arch dome covers, and they are for these exposed bits of bodywork that were situated in the boot trunk area, where the sort of wheel well arches came into the boot trunk area. So just bear that in mind, that originally they were always exposed bodywork, but we do a cover that you can use to cover those up. So when I mention those, that's what I'm talking about. So let's start with the basics. Originally, the cars would have left with a 5-piece panel set, which would have included, for example, on the Carb version that we're looking at here, the main petrol tank board up on the vertical. Then you had the left side boot side panel, right side boot side panel, and then these are the ones that were sort of at the back around the corner here. So that's your 5-piece kit there. Originally, they were always in black, and they had this grained fiberboard material. So we call it black grainboard, but it's effectively a millboard fiberboard, and it's got a black coating on the face of it, and it's got this grain embossed into it to kind of imitate vinyl and leather. So the cars would have left the factory with these 5 pieces in that material there. I've just left this one out here just as a reference for the material side of things. We can then offer upgrade kits where we can trim this in vinyl, as per the green one, or in carpet, as per the other two sets here. When it comes to carpet, obviously you've got a choice of nylon or wool. Both of these are wool, and both of these have been done in the same carpet of the main cabin area at the request of the customers. So one customer with the Carb over in the US has gone for bright red to match the interior. We're actually doing a full leather kit for this chap, and obviously carpets in the front and wool as well, and he wanted the boot trunk area to match up. He's also getting a spare wheel cover, which we can also do in a wool version of the cover, but please do see our other video for more information on that one. Same with the guy at the front there, UK customer with a petrol injection. That's all dark blue wool there. But this customer here has gone for, it's actually a unique colour, it's porcelain green vinyl. In theory, we could trim them in leather as well, but I would say if you're looking for that element of luxury, personally, I would go down the route of carpet because I think it looks really nice. It all ties in with the boot mat, etc. So anyway, panels, 5 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, obviously, the panels changed shape dependent on carburettor or petrol injection, but it was always 5 pieces. You then had the boot mat, so floor carpet basically, and again that did change between the carburettor or the petrol injection version there. Traditionally the boots were always in black, but we do offer upgrade kits where you can add a bit of colour to them, and it really does spruce the car up nicely. It's one of those areas actually that I think often gets forgotten in a restoration. So if you do take the time and effort to actually get it all tying in with the main interior, it can become a real head turner at shows and things like that, where it's an area of the car that perhaps people aren't expecting you to have spent much time and effort on, but it can look really, really good. Check out our website for more photos on that side of things. Then obviously, as I mentioned, you got the what we refer to as the boot trunk dome wheel arch retrim kits, which they're actually bits of moquette, which is a thinner version of unbacked carpet, which cover up those metalwork areas at the bottom left and right edges of the boot liner petrol tank board. Now if we look at this petrol injection one to start with, dark blue wool, because the petrol injections, as per what I mentioned in the book here, the fuel pump was located in this back left corner here as you're looking in. This effectively, you can see the crease lines there. I can't do it with one hand unfortunately, but you can see that it does bend round that corner there. That thus meant that there was a cutout in the carpet here, which obviously allows for that to sit in there. So actually that becomes almost null and void, but the other side is still needed. But we always offer them as a pair, because sometimes you'll maybe get a bit of bodywork showing through, so we always offer them in a pair. But because of this element here, you'll also find that this left side panel here is a cut down version of the carburettor one there, so just bear that in mind. But the right side stays consistent, as do these small little panels here. The carburettor, much more simplistic. It's effectively symmetrical as such, apart from the cutaway on the left side panel there. Obviously both of them have the elements for the hinges where the boot lid comes down, and if I just flip this one over, you can see as well that it has the cutaways here perforated. Let me just show you on the black grainboard. You can just about see it coming through there. On the black grainboard one, you have the perforation there, which is where the interior light interior light cover goes there. Obviously you have all of the sort of location holes for the pilot fixings effectively. Same again, although semi covered up here, you have these here, and then same again on these ones here, and mostly covered up, but you can just about make them out in the corners there with the little divots there. So that's for joining them all together and affixing them in the car there. What else is there to say about these? Oh yes, for those customers that are veering towards updating their petrol injection cars to the very popular aftermarket Bosch fuel pump system, then almost certainly you will update your kit to the Carb version. We do quite a lot of those kits where it's a petrol injection car originally, but they've updated to the Bosch fuel system, and therefore you want to go from this setup here, and you will end up with this setup here as a Carb kit. I think that's pretty much covered it. Worth obviously bearing in mind, basically there are 3 kits here in terms of individual kits that you want to buy for the car. So you've got the panel kit, which if we just focus on the green one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is sold as a kit of 5 pieces for the main surround panels. You then have the boot mat as a singular item, and then you have the boot dome, wheel arch dome retrim kits as another kit as well. So if you want to do the whole of your interior of your boot, they are the 3 main kits. Then also consider the spare wheel cover that, like I say, you can see the link to the video below or at the end of this one. So that is an overview of the boot trunk area for the Triumph TR6 models, both petrol injection and carburettor. Hope you found it useful. Please do obviously contact us via our website if you want any more details or are looking to start a restoration project for your TR6. And please do share with other classic car enthusiasts out there and restorers out there. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.